Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here, back in another video, and today we return with college football predictions. As today we will be previewing week 4. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Now, if you've been a part of this channel for a while, you know that for my predictions, I used to have a deep dive into one specific game, and I uploaded 4 to 5 videos of each during the week. Now, if you didn't if you didn't watch my video last week, I did get injured. I do have a fractured elbow and broke my wrist, so it's kind of difficult to produce as many videos as I can. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to upload one video per week with my predictions. This week we have 8 games I'll be talking about, but at max we can have 12 games depending on the week. We could have 12 games next week, as week 5 is absolutely stacked. And then at the end of the video, I'll be giving you my 2 favorite over-under bets to do and my favorite spreads to do. So, yeah, without any more talking, let's get straight into my predictions for week 4. The first game we'll talk about today will be Clemson at Wake Forest. And this is a big-time game for this upcoming weekend. And personally, this is going to be the game that shows, in my opinion, that Wake Forest is going to be kind of like a fraudulent team this year, as I have Clemson winning this game 27-23, and the main reason why, Wake Forest's defense is going to allow Clemson's offense to find ways to score. And even though this Clemson offense is not even as close as good as their defense, Will Shipley's been an absolute monster this year. He already has 6 rushing touchdowns. DJ at quarterback's been surprising in my opinion, doing much better than I actually anticipated, completing almost 65% of his passes with only 1 interception on this year. And then of course the defense, I really don't even have to go into the defense. Last game it was a little iffy as Brian Barassi was out, but they still look good last weekend, and I think they're going to be able to pressure Sam Hartman in this game, and he's going to be struggling. I've been very vocal on this channel about my feelings with Sam Hartman, and even though he's a top 20 quarterback, he's still probably one of, if not the most overrated quarterback in all college football in my opinion. He's not a top 10 quarterback, and the only reason why he looks so good is his stats are a tad inflated with this basically air raid offense Wake Forest has. And even though Clemson's defense will be able to send pressure, I do think Sam Hartman will be able to make some big time plays to wide receivers like A.T. Perry that will keep them close in this game. But Wake Forest's defense is still a main issue with this team, so that's why overall I think Clemson will be able to score, and then their defense or their defense will be able to get big time stops, and that's why I just think Clemson will win this game. Wake does have the home crowd on their side, but I just think it's not going to be enough. Tigers win on the road. Next game, we have a neutral site game as Arkansas faces Texas A&M. And this game is going to be a little intriguing for me. As we all know, App State went down to College Station and upset the Aggies week 2. And then last week, Miami came into town and Texas A&M beat them at home. Now, I do want to talk about that real quick, as you did see in my week 3 recap. Texas A&M did look good. I'm not taking any shine off of that. But I think the main reason why they won was Miami just kept on shooting themselves in the foot. If Miami was able to convert on more of their mistakes, they would have won that game. And it's not even that Texas A&M looked bad. It was just that Miami just overall looked a tad better. If you look at the statistics, they have a lot of key edges. They were better on 3rd down and etc. But they just had some faulty mistakes like multiple missed field goals and on special teams that made them lose that game. But even though Devin A-Chain looks really good in that game as well, Max Johnson's probably going to be your quarterback going on throughout the season. But Texas A&M, I'm just a little iffy about them. As we talk about Arkansas, they looked phenomenal the first 2 weeks, as they had big time wins at home versus Cincinnati and South Carolina. But last week they were down at halftime versus Missouri State. Missouri State is one of the upper echelon teams in the FCS, in my opinion at least. But still, there is no excuse on why you should be down. But once that 4th quarter hit, KJ Jefferson and Raheem Sanders was absolutely bonkers, which led the Razorbacks to end up winning that game. So even though both Arkansas and A&M have been up and down this year, I'm just more confident in Arkansas and that coaching staff to get a win in this game. So I have Arkansas winning this game 21-18. Next game, we have the Florida Gators going up to Neyland to face the Tennessee Vols. And man, I don't know, to be honest, because Florida's ranked, but they did not look good the past few times. Of course, we all know they beat number 7 Utah, and then the next week they lost at home to Kentucky, and then they almost lost last week versus USF, which was not even a good win. They only won by 3 points, when a few weeks ago BYU went to USF and won by like 40 something. But not the best win for Florida. And then Tennessee's been red hot. We all saw that big time Pitt win. And college game day's going there. This crowd's going to be electric. But I think Tennessee's going to win this game. I think Anthony Richardson will be better than he has been for the past 2 games. But it's still not going to be enough. I think if Cedric Tillman has a big time game like he did versus Pitt, I may have to consider him a top 3 wide receiver in all college football. Tennessee will win this game 41-27 in my opinion. And then this final game, out of these 4 at least, or number 15 Oregon at Washington State, and I had such a hard time choosing this game. This was probably the toughest game to choose in my opinion because, as you know, I'm an Oregon fan, but if you also looked at my Oregon predictions, I had Washington State winning this game in the preseason, and Washington State has looked even better than I thought. I was higher on Washington State than people anticipated, as I had them finishing 2nd in the North. But man, oh man, going to Wisconsin getting a win. Cameron Ward's been really good. The dynamic duo as that wide receiver and Stribling and Ali have been really good as well. This defense, though, has been amazing with Dayin Hentley absolutely balling out on that defense. My bad for mispronouncing his name. But Oregon, their talent has just been amazing. After that blowout Georgia loss, they just scored 70 on Eastern Washington, and last week on national TV, just put a stepping on BYU and destroyed them at home. And even though this game's at Pullman, one of the most underrated crowds in all college football, I'm going to take Oregon to win this game 27-24. This is a 50-50 game, and usually I'll go towards the home team in these instances, but I just think Oregon, I have more confidence in their talent compared to Washington State to win this game. But man, oh man, I will not be surprised if Washington State easily wins this game at home. I think this is going to be a game where both teams deserve to win, but of course, you can't have 2 winners. Oregon will find a way to win this game on the road, 27-24. The next game I want to talk about is number 22 Texas going on the road to Lubbock to face Texas Tech. And this game is really intriguing to me. Texas Tech has been a lot better than I've thought. I did predict the win versus Houston. I've also predicted their other game. But NC State was a little iffy in my opinion. But Texas, they've looked really good the first 2 weeks, especially versus Bama. But last week they kind of struggled versus UTSA in the first half. That did pull away towards the end. So that's a good sign for Texas. As we all know, they did lose their quarterback in Quinn Ewers in that Alabama game. And Hudson Card has filled in his place. But overall, even though I'm a big fan of Joey McGuire and I really love this passing offense for Texas Tech, I just don't think they have the overall talent to compete with Texas at the end of the day. This game will be close. It will be a tad more high scoring. This crowd's going to be energized. But the big-headed monster, Bijan Robertson, Roshan Johnson, Xavier Worthy, all the stars they have on offense and defense will make Texas win this game. Texas will win on the road in Lubbock, 38-29. Next game, we have number 7 USC going on the road to Oregon State, and I am furious. This game is on the Pac-12 network. I have to go scavenging the internet to try to watch this game because I desperately want to watch this game. USC has lived up to all the hype up to this point in the season, absolutely demolishing their teams up to this point as well. Caleb Williams, in my opinion, is the Heisman frontrunner. In my last video in the recap, I said maybe it's CJ Stroud. No, I think it's Caleb Williams as the Heisman frontrunner as of right now. The wide receiver core with Jordan Addison, Mario Williams, and etc. has just been elite. And overall, this offense has been elite and could easily be the best offense in college football up to this point this season. Now, as we look to Oregon State, man, oh man, I really like this team. Chance Nolan, our quarterback's been really well. They did come back versus Fresno State. I was really mad about that game because, as you know, I love Fresno State. But Fresno State also got whooped versus USC. But this defense for Oregon State is going to be able to slow down USC's offense, in my opinion, for a little bit of points in this game. Cornerback Jaden Grant has been an absolute monster this year. I think he's going to be able to lock down a few guys at some points during this game. And overall, Chance Nolan's going to be able to throw this ball against this USC defense. Do not be surprised if he has like around 350 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. And this game is going to be close. Corvallis is going to be hyped. This could be easily the biggest game Oregon State has had at home in quite a long time, actually. But I think at the end of the day, USC has a little too much talent. And kind of just like how the Texas game was that we just talked about, USC will find a way to win this game 44-39. A game you probably didn't anticipate me talking about was James Madison at Appalachian State. And this game, in my opinion, is going to be really, really intriguing. App State, we already know the story, almost beat North Carolina in a thrilling game. Next week, went down the College Station and upset the number 6 Texas A&M Aggies. And then last week, after a phenomenal game from Troy, App State ruined their dreams with a Hail Mary catch by Christian Horn to end the game, as App State won that game. They had College Game Day there and everything, and everyone saying rank App State. But this is going to be a true test for App State, I think, as they do host James Madison. James Madison, as we all know, has upgraded to the FBS level. Todd Centeio at quarterbacks has been an absolute beast for this Duke's offense. Percy Ajayo, beast at running backs, has tons of experience as well, so look out for him. Chris Thornton has been a beast at wide receiver as well, and I'm actually going to be really intrigued to see how App State matches up with Chris Thornton. And with App State, we already know the drill. Chase Bryce, experienced quarterback. Cameron Peoples, Daytrich Harrington, and Nate Noel, a 3-headed monster at the running back position. And they also have some really good wide receivers like Christian Horn, Deshaun Davis, and Caden Robinson. And then also I forgot to say, James Madison's defense has just absolutely been phenomenal. They really don't have a key guy, but as you look as a team defense, they've barely allowed points, they've barely allowed yards, and I think App State, that's going to account for them as well. I think their defense is going to be able to slow down App State in a few ways, but I think at the end of the day, App State's going to find a way to win this game. They have like all this fairy dust, they're just going off miracles at this point. And it's going to be a close game. I think James Madison's going to use all their energy. This is probably going to be their biggest game of the season. They're just going to fall short, though. As overall, I think App State just has more talent. App State wins a very close game at home, 28-24. And the final game we'll be talking about in this video is Minnesota at Michigan State. And this game I'm just so confused on, as I think Michigan State, we just saw last week, they went up to Seattle, Washington, and got absolutely cooked by Michael Penix Jr. as Washington defeated them at home. And I knew Michigan State was overrated. They have a dude named Jacoby Windman as a linebacker. He already has 5.5 sacks. But I wasn't expecting that. And that secondary is still pitiful and disgusting. And that front four of Michigan State, that was regarded as their best thing on that defense. That was non-existent in the Washington game. So I'm very questionable about that, as they're going to have to be able to stop the run. Mo Ibrahim is a top 5 running back in college football. He's a workhorse. He already has like 7 touchdowns. He's absolutely crazy. And that's what this Minnesota's offense runs through of. They also have Trey Potts behind him in case Ibrahim gets hurt. So you have a 2-headed monster running back. How is Michigan State going to be able to stop them? But then also at the same time, I think Michigan State's offense is also going to be able to find ways to score, even though Minnesota's defense is really, really good. And even though I want to say Michigan State wins this game just because it's at home, I'm just more confident in PJ Fleck and this Minnesota team as of this point. And I think Mo Ibrahim's going to have another phenomenal game, because I just can't see a way Michigan State stops him defensively. And just because of that reason, I have to say Minnesota wins this game on the road 26-24. Michigan State can very easily win this game, but I just have so many question marks and concerns with this defense that I'm just going to give the slight edge to the Gophers as of right now. And now let's talk about my 4 bets of the week. Let's talk about the 2 over and unders. Both of them are over. Actually, both are actually over 65.5. First is Maryland at Michigan. I'm taking it over in that. Michigan's offense has just looked elite. I understand their opponents have been absolutely doggy water, but their offense is still going to be good. I think they're going to at least drop 35 in this game. And then Maryland, they're going to be able to score. Tagovailoa is going to be able to throw to Raheem Jarrett with relatively ease, in my opinion. And even though both defenses have a little bit of concerns, mainly I'm talking about Maryland in that instance, I think both teams will be able to score around 24, 30 points. And I think overall they will be over 65 points in this game. This next one may be a little surprising. Over 65.5 for Tulsa at Ole Miss. And it just seems like Ole Miss is able to score more and more each and every week. Quanshon Judkins and Zach Evans, I was not expecting that to be an elite running back duo in college football this season, but it is. And Tulsa, it doesn't matter the opponent, they're able to score points with Davis Brin at quarterback. As you looked at the first 3 games, I'm not saying Tulsa's going to win this game, even though I kind of want to see them upset Ole Miss here. I could actually see it if Davis Brin goes off. I'm confident both teams are going to be able to score over 30. I think Ole Miss may even score 50 versus this Tulsa defense. So I think this game is going to be relatively high scoring. Take the over in that game. This next one may be a little skeptical to a lot of people, but I'm going to give my judgment. I'm going to give plus 22 to Charlotte as they go on the road to face South Carolina. South Carolina has looked very questionable this season. You lost in a bad, awful way at home last week versus Georgia. You lost on the road at Arkansas, and you almost lost week 1 at home versus Georgia State. And Georgia State is an 0-3 team right now. But to be fair, Georgia State, they lost to South Carolina. They lost at home to North Carolina. But you know who not North Carolina, but you know who Georgia State just lost to last week? Charlotte. Charlotte has not looked good either. But Charlotte was able to beat Georgia State. So I'm confident in Charlotte to at least not get blown out by South Carolina in this game. And I'm confident Charlotte will be able to put up points in this game with Chris Reynolds at quarterback and Grant DeBose at wide receiver. And I think even though South Carolina may win this game by like 2 touchdowns, I'm not giving them 3 touchdowns. Well, this is more than 3 touchdowns. It's a 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. Give me this plus 2.5, not 2.5, plus 22 easy for this 49ers team. And then the final one, Duke at Kansas. I was going to take the minus points with Kansas anyway. I just love what I've been seeing with this Kansas offense under Lance Leopold so far this season. But when I started making this graphic template, Kansas was actually getting -9 at home. When I was like, whoa, I was even going to take the points there. And then when I woke up this morning, I was like, -7.5. Give that to me all day. So I'm more confident in this pick now than it was before. Jalen Daniels, as you saw as he was on the thumbnail, an absolute monster at quarterback, as he's the main guy in this Kansas offense. And this Kansas team is legit, and they can easily make a bowl game of this year, in my opinion, if they still play up to this par in conference play. So that is it for my week 4 predictions. If you want more predictions over under any questions college football related, just let me know in the comments section below. And like always, like, share, subscribe, push your notifications on so you don't miss any of my videos. Share this video so we can grow this Elk NCAA community. And like always, have a good day. Peace out.